Patrick requested country, and
I didn't know he said he listens to like Baby Shark and stuff. So I was like, you know what? I don't have any of that. I could have.
Are you on Blippy? Do y'all do Blippy at your house?
Oh, Blippy takes over the world.
We do Blippy. Now we're on the new Blues Clues.
Oh, there's a new one.
Apparently so. Well, that was the new one for this week. But yeah,
like
when you're asking about songs that are on in the car, that's usually what's on. It's either shows from the kids are watching or Mickey Mouse or that kind of thing.
And you know, Blippy has like a bunch of like train songs, and it's not just like one theme song. The dude, he's got it down pat.
I'm so glad I don't have a kid right now. I can't even.
Well, they'll know Blippy. Now he's in like Walmart. He's everywhere. And then that Ryan's World.
Yeah, Ryan's World and Blippy. They're both making a killing.
Yeah, Ryan's World's worth like $200 million. He's a kid.
Wow.
He's in every store. Oh my God. I got the yellow ribbon. Oh my God. So, you know, it's okay. It's okay. You know.
How many times did you sit back just relaxing? Understand movements coming in, yeah, we got the packs in. I don't really want to see no more traffic. Last pack just came in, let's get it out quick.
I had a hard
Wanna be okay, wanna be alright.
Where's the number of
I'm waiting.
What? Oh, you're good.
Oh,
Share away. All right, guys. Hey, welcome to Kathy and Susie's Kids. We're here with and this is Matthew Brooks.
Hey,
sorry about that. And then we got Garrett over there. Say hey, Garrett. Hey. Yeah, he just waved. He needs to be on camera.
Did you say get hey for Garrett?
No, I thought he'd pop up his face on the screen. Anyways, we're here with Patrick Johnson, one of the OGs from Ocean Springs. That's how I like to say it.
Yeah, OG. Patrick, what's up, dude?
Oh man, thanks for having us.
Been asking you to come on this thing for a minute now.
I'm glad.
And you were like, I don't have anything to talk about. And I'm like, dude, that's BS. Like, you got a lot to talk about.
Yeah, I didn't think I was that interesting, but I'm glad y'all were both badgering me until I came on. But no, I'm excited about it.
We're good at that teamwork. Like, hey, come on.
Right off the bat, you know, when I reached out to you, you said Matt was reaching out to you too. It's like, so I met Patrick. I don't know where'd you meet Patrick?
Through Fleener, I think, way back when.
So that is, it's about the same time.
I mean, we were, what, 10, 11, 12, something like
Probably
that.
So.
Going to his birthday party.
Middle school or so.
And it's been a great friendship ever since. I mean, every time I see you, it's not often I get to see you now. I mean, life takes us in different paths. Like we were just talking about, you got Blippy and stuff like that on the television. So, but when I do, it's always a great time, man. So I'm tickled for this.
No, man, it was great to catch up. We were actually at Garrett's engagement party where we all got to talk to each other and hadn't seen each other in a while. And y'all both started on me to get on the show.
That's a full court press right there. That's what we're talking about.
But no, I mean, I'm glad I'm on. It's I'm excited about the stuff that y'all are doing. I think it's been, you know, as we were talking about, like it's grown, really blown up so fast. I mean, 102 episodes plus some others that y'all may or may release.
Yeah, never in a million years would we have thought. Like I said, Jordan has thought we were gonna. He knows we're gonna do big things, but in my mind, I'm like, this is just like therapy, and we're just gonna come talk, and everybody's got a story, and it's blown up, man.
Yeah, that's what's cool. I mean, y'all are highlighting a lot of people on the coast that, you know, different backgrounds, different jobs, different things they got going on.
And you get to see though too, Patrick. We're able to control like how we want to have people on. Like for me and Matt, you know, Matt knew you back when we were younger too. I met you, I think, right around 12. Like Mardi Gras though. Every guys down here in Biloxi when we were kids, we got to see each year, each school would kind of all come together, and that's how you meet friends. And I remember meeting Patrick and everybody. Ocean Springs meeting St. Martin, and you got to interact, and that's when you met that person. Then you got their AIM, it's got AOL Instant Messenger.
Boom.
And then then you hooked up and became friends. And but I think that's something.
We got cards, and then we can start meeting up.
Yeah, remember that. But Mardi Gras is always kind of like them stomping grounds for us. So it's kind of cool when you see a person like Garrett's engagement party where you get to reconnect with a person like yourself. You've been doing big things though, huh?
Oh, I don't know about that. I guess it's
like tech stuff.
It's been
right?
fun, man. That's what we were talking about. You know, what we could talk about coming on the show. I do technology sales, but I work for Amazon Web Services, the cloud division of Amazon. But I guess for the past, 12 years or so, I've been working in tech on the Mississippi Gulf Coast. Been very blessed, fortunate to work with some big tech companies, but still live here.
So when you say cloud though, like, can you kind of give me like a rundown? And do you work for like the sales part of it, like shopping wise, or like, is there like a cloud for businesses or?
Yeah. So mine, I just work with education. So I work with some of the universities along the Gulf states, and a lot of ours is, how they can better engage with students, how they can understand what students are doing, how they can, help support researchers. And for cloud, it's really just providing them some kind of technology resources via the internet on demand. So instead of building out big data centers at a campus or something like that, they can come to AWS or other cloud providers and with an idea or a project or something that they want to do. And then we can help kind of put together what that would look like on a cloud platform. And that's what I've been doing really through my whole career is, I spent a while at Cisco Systems, a large networking company, global networking company. And then after that, worked for Salesforce and for Google. And it's been, I worked with businesses in the commercial sector, worked with ones that are, worked with government, state and local government, K-12s and higher ed. But it's just cool. It's every use case is a little different. Every conversation is different. And it's trying to understand like what they're trying to do from a business perspective and how we can enable that with technology.
So do y'all like cookie cut these things for business or?
No, I mean,
is it like here's our rate, here's what you get?
No, the cool thing about most of the platforms that you'd be looking at, it's really trying to understand, what the end goal of the business or the end goal of the university or the end goal of the government is. And, how you can give them tools. So it may be, something that's already out of the box, or it may be something that one of our partners are developing.
Right.
So it'd be some, how do you use technology to enable what they're doing?
I mean, I've used Salesforce a good bit. That's pretty neat. I mean, how it all works, but at the end of the day, that's one of millions, I feel like, that are offering that service, right?
Yeah. And, like Salesforce is a great company and they've got, a phenomenal brand. When I was working with them, I was working in state and local government. And you're probably familiar with Salesforce from like the commercial perspective, customer relationship management. So you've got a customer that wants to, if it's, some retail organization or something like that, they want to understand, kind of your shopping habits and what you're looking at and what you've bought in the past and all of that.
It's really creepy. It's like data points almost.
Yeah. There's a lot of data that goes into it and then, analysis behind that. But what we were doing was, how do you kind of take that same, how do you engage with the customer, but engage with the citizen? So, things like, modernizing Department of Motor Vehicles or working with some, platform for Medicare, Medicaid, or, we did some things with that were related to the pandemic and that kind of thing. So it was some rewarding work, just working with, other ways that you could really.
Do you ever find though, so you're here in Mississippi, a lot of stuff's out of date.
Yeah.
How's that? Like, stepping in there, you're like, people maybe still using paper and.
Yeah, no, I still have paper files sometimes.
Yeah. It's, I love Mississippi and I love, being here. There's nowhere else that I'd want to move or, I had looked at other job opportunities, things like that, but I want to be on the coast. I love Mississippi. Yeah. And I think a lot of that is, helping people of Mississippi, businesses or, government education kind of get to move forward in the future through technology. But yeah, a lot of times, and it's not just Mississippi, it's a lot of times, the region there or outside of kind of the major tech hubs. But yeah, I've been able to spend a lot of time in, California and Silicon Valley, in Austin and, a lot of things going in Atlanta and Chicago and then down south.
Bringing it here. Is it like doing research?
And do they like headhunt you? Cause they're like, this is an area, like you said, you're from Ocean Springs and you've traveled stuff, but like, there's not a lot of tech around here. Yeah.
And that's, I feel, very fortunate to work for these companies, but stay here. But yeah, I think that's the thing, there's a lot of people, I'm probably the exception of people who want to work in big tech, but live in Mississippi. Now there are people that I work with from, engineering or solutions architects or other ones that are, in sales who are from here and love, the Southeast too. But yeah, I mean, it's a lot harder to entice somebody to come live in Mississippi than it may be to, go to Denver or California or Austin or something like that.
So I have a brother, my older brother, what Happy would be now. What is Happy, like probably 45 now, just had a kid. Oh. Me and Matt grew up with Happy. He lives in Sacramento, California from here, but he was always into tech. And he's actually a producer partner of an app company and develops apps over in California. He's been there 15 years.
Awesome.
But for him, it was moving to the tech side. They develop like kids books on apps, nice. And it's funny. He tells this stuff is like people like Soldier Boy or Fergie, they invest their money into technology. If they have
a lot of people, baseball players, football players. I mean, it's about a true rate of return, I think.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of those kind of outside of your traditional, like institutional investors and then, those venture capital type firms that, outside of those, there's a lot of people that, like you said, actors or, people that are in sports that want to invest in these startups because they can see the potential of something, these new apps that could, revolutionize the way that, a business interacts with a customer or, we interact. I mean, who would have thought we'd been sitting here doing a podcast like this and streaming that out to, thousands of people.
And it's kind of important too for this fact right here. I'm curious, like for me, I've always thought like there's a lot of talented kids in Mississippi, and there's not a platform for them to like kind of dive into like Amazon. I mean, you worked hard to get where you're at, but I'm saying there's a lot of people. I'm always curious, like, you ever think in the future that we're going to have something here where, you take these people and you train? It's all about learning.
Yeah.
You take them and you teach them things and they grow.
And that's what, as we were kind of talking about, I was just thinking about things to talk about on here.
Yeah.
And I think that's, something that's so important to the state of Mississippi. And I think that's something that like our leadership needs to focus on, how do we entice more tech people to come to Mississippi? How do we, and it starts with, in K-12, how do we expand STEM programs for, students? How do we expand programs for like, women in tech that are looking, that want to be engineers or, solutions architects or data scientists or all those things. And there are a lot of programs, but I think people just don't know to take advantage of them.
Yeah, we had technology discovery and computer discovery. And
that was kind of was kind of my first love.
But they didn't have that class prior to, like, I don't know, 4 or 5 years before us. So that was like the first instillment, I feel like, of getting people like me and you on that page.
That's it. Looking back, and that was really the start of it. But now it's, in a lot of these districts and, different parts of the country, there's, programs for, robotics and cybersecurity and app development where these, students are coming, they're graduate from high school and they know exactly what they want to do, and they can go into certificate-based programs or associates programs and don't necessarily have to do the 4-year degree route to come out and, understand like where they can fit in the world of cybersecurity. And that's something that's, if you look at across just jobs in general, I mean, what I've read some things about, over the next couple of years, there's going to be, over 500,000 cybersecurity jobs that'll be unfilled in the United States. And, those are the ones that Mississippi, especially within, our colleges and that kind of thing, how do you entice people to not only go after those jobs, but then also want to come back to Mississippi and live here? So that's been a lot of, people go to
money,
our 2 and 4 year organizations, then they graduate and then they move off. But for me, it's like I always wanted to come back here. And I know there are things that, different agencies and things are doing to try to entice people here. But I think it's a combination of, people that are getting out of the military, veterans, and want to, look at a tech job, and how do you entice those people to come here? But then also, how do you give people the best tools? And I think, the work from home that has come out of, the pandemic, a lot of people are, you can really work from anywhere.
Yeah. That's one thing that people have, I think, opened their eyes to is the overhead expense of that office, and then having people come in 8 to 5 is really less productive than having somebody just be task oriented and knock it out right then and there.
Exactly. I mean, I've spent most of my career working from home, but there's no reason that, somebody can't have these, tremendous tech jobs, but do that from Mississippi, because we do have so much to offer from the state. I mean, y'all live here, y'all are from here, that.
Yep.
But I think people, that was always, anytime that I would go meet new teams or go work on, projects in other places, it was always, oh, you're from Mississippi. And then I, start talking about, why I love Mississippi, the things that are here.
Oh,
background. Yeah. I've gotten some of that before.
No, I have too. I mean, I was traveling a lot for work, and people are like, oh, you're from Mississippi. I'm like, don't put me in a different category I'm here with you right now.
But yeah.
So Patrick, so are y'all starting now? Like, so with your company, like, are you starting to get a lot? Do y'all do a lot of interns?
Yeah.
How could somebody sign up, reach out to y'all, like that is listening to the podcast? How could somebody reach out and say, you know what, I want a career path, I want to learn something?
Yeah, I mean, feel free to reach out to me. I mean, I can give you the information. I can point you the direction within AWS. But then every company that I've worked with has had some kind of program like that, whether it was like an associate sales program or like an associate engineer. Those ones that have, maybe graduated in some kind of business degree or may have a engineering or cybersecurity background or something like that, and want to, go to work for big tech, because there are a lot of jobs that are here or remote. And then from there, a lot of them have programs that are, hiring veterans that are leaving active duty military or in the reserves or something like that, and have some kind of tech background within the military. They're trying to come out. But then there's a lot of companies now that, and I feel like that's changed over the past, few years. There's a lot more opportunities for just anybody to go, start doing a lot of that. That learning online,
especially right now. Yeah, I mean, Jordan learned half the stuff we do for this podcast online.
And I went to Full Self like 10 years ago. So like I just did it because I was fascinated. I want to do something different. I think And let's go back to St. Martin. So for me, it was me and Ryan Bowden. We took Mr. Nelm's class. He did a computer class. So we built our first website in HTML code and paintbrush. Like, it was just, we enjoyed it though. We got so hooked on it. Like, we would we figured out what pixels were. So we would like take paintbrush and learn how to pixel 8 pictures and create things with cartoons.
That's where you zoom all the way in.
Yeah, we just sat there and did it for hours. And so I was going, in my early 20s, like, what do I want to do? And I just love like creating. So I decided to, I went to Full Sail. First, it was like web development, but I didn't really like it. But so I moved to like just like Adobe or creating. Photoshop's probably my strongest, but there's nothing more like in this tech world. It's intimidating. But once you get into it, and like you said, these online classes, you just got to put in the work.
Yeah. And I mean, and that's a lot of it. It's, finding mentors in the industry, people that, want to help you kind of open doors, point you in the right direction. I had somebody talk to me the other day, was asking just, they were actually getting out of the military, and they were asking like, well, what's the, what are the options? Like, where do I start if I wanted to do something similar? But I always had a lot of those same conversations, some of the programs that are out there.
Well, there's so many different jobs offered.
Are y'all more about degree, or y'all more about, sorry about that. Are you more about certifications? That's kind of,
I think it's a combination of both. And it depends on the role, what the requirements are, but a lot of them will come down to, not necessarily the education, but some of the on the job that you have, or some of the certifications that you can go out there and complete online, do a lot of the labs and that kind of thing. And then one of the engineers that I worked with at Cisco, him and then another guy, they're actually from down here. They started a company, Next Gen T. And their kind of plan was, how do we train people in tech and cybersecurity and those kind of things without having to go through the 2 or 4 year degree path? And they kind of have this model of like putting you through a tech boot camp where they teach you, give you the job skills and the training, and so that you can come out and really start making really good money right off the bat, because you've got the experience and you've been trained by people that are like industry professionals.
You know how long their classes are?
I'm not sure. I'll have to.
Should we try?
You can. I'm done with school.
But yeah, I think it's a combination.
Found my calling.
There's definitely opportunity, especially there's some great like companies that are here in Mississippi that I've worked with and for. There's some great tech companies based out of Jackson that have engineers that have supported companies.
There's a lot of people here though that young kids. I mean, like for me, like when I do like any kind of like graphic design style. How do you do that? But there's so many people that are fascinated with this kind of like tech world, but it's always like, I can't do that. There's no way I'll be able ever to do that.
I feel the same way about some of the stuff me and him have done.
But you always succeed. I mean, like
it's a matter of how bad do you want it?
One of our best chandelier beer commercials that we've done, it's been him directing the whole thing. So it's like,
but how bad do you want it? I mean, people look at me, I'll play the guitar and they're like, man, you're awesome. And I'm like, no, I'm not really that good.
That,
like, how can I do that? I can't do that. And I'm like, yeah, you really can. If you want to sit down and you want to learn how to do it, but how bad do you want to do it?
And that should be a campaign. Like that should be a campaign, because Matt's always said it too, when we started, like, it's kind of, I think people get too scared to do this stuff and they freak out because of the word tech.
Yeah.
So if you took the word tech out.
Well, I know I'm ADD and it's a struggle I deal with. I got a little bit of dyslexia. So sometimes whenever I look at like instructions, boom, it pops up. And I'm like, that's too much. I can't even read all that.
Your brain just,
I just run away from it. I run away from it.
That's how a lot of businesses are. That's how a lot of government agencies are. They know, you got business analysts and people on that side that kind of have an idea of what they want to have happen, but they don't necessarily know how to put the underlying technical source in place.
That's where the gap.
And that's where I think a lot of, the people that are like successful in sales and engineering and that kind of thing, it's like, how do you kind of connect the dots for them?
I think too is like when I was like, how I started learning how, like, putting in the work was like, I'm okay with failing. It's for me, it's learning. Like if I fail, I'm learning, and I continue. Like I'll fail, and I get frustrated. My head's down, but I'll get right back up and I'll figure it out. And that's kind of like the mentality of the show. But like I think when you talk to somebody like you, we grew up with you, so to see you, bring tech in here and be educational about this, and it's important for you. I'd love to see the coast have a few tech companies, and these young kids that leave St. Martin, leave Ocean Springs, have an opportunity, and
it'd be just as plentiful as you are provided full of as Ingalls or something like that.
Yeah, and that's what I know that like Google's opening a support center in South Haven, and
that's huge.
I know that there's
that's right at Hattiesburg, right?
Up north, up outside of Memphis, North Mississippi. And I know there's been conversations about other ones, and there are some like big data centers in the Jackson area. There's a couple of tech companies like business.
Well, didn't Fofo just try to bring something down here, like some tech down here, big tech?
Yeah, I know. Like, and I don't know what all Fofo does have like a tech background and some of the things he's done in software development, but I'm not sure on
what. Yeah, I remember him talking about.
But yeah, I mean, I know he's always been pushing to attract those type of businesses and those
well, we see so many people, and our friends,
same way though.
Our friends have left here. They see opportunity elsewhere, and they jet out. And if they stay, they could be building this place up, making it better. And I'm not saying that Mississippi's for everybody. I'm not knocking anybody that left. Go chase your dreams and do whatever you want to do. This is America. But the more people that do stay here, the more people that do build bigger businesses here and grow and expand on their knowledge and capabilities, that's only going to better us.
100%. You see this thing, all of it, like when we're growing up, we're all like 05. It was always the when I get out of school, I'm getting out of here. I'm doing better things. No, and it was always like, I'm leaving. I'm going to LA. I'm getting out of here. I'm going to
job in Colorado. And I was like, I'm not going there. I still got stuff in Oxford. I got
but when you come back to it, like, I mean, I've moved a few states, and I'll tell you right now, there's nothing like the coast. I definitely love the passion about the tech, having development, but we don't see it. I mean, you do, like Matt said, you see shipbuilding. Yeah. You get shipbuilding, you get a
refinery,
you get a call center for AT&T. But as far as tech as we've seen.
Yeah. And I think that's where, the leadership across our states got to do.
But every business has tech.
Yeah.
Uses tech.
And integrate. People that aren't, embracing new tech and, new ways to connect with their customer, they're getting left behind, and we see that every day with businesses that, fail to innovate or don't innovate fast enough. And whatever that new company is that embraces the model. And that's where cloud is just, it's a game changer for a lot of companies because they don't have to build out massive data centers and all this infrastructure for some new idea, new application. They can build out, they have an idea, they put it together. So
how does this stored? Is this like all satellites that are out there in space that are, I don't know, explain the cloud.
So, I mean, the cloud is,
or is it a big data center, like a warehouse? That's got
every
towers.
Definition is a little bit different as to, what company you're talking about.
Is it a real cloud?
But yeah, I mean, it's data centers that are somewhere else, that we're serving up some kind of resources, whether that's, compute capability or storage or some kind of, serverless application or something like that. But it's no different than if, you're using iCloud or something like that to store your photos. That's just another data center somewhere.
Full.
Yeah.
It stays
and that's it.
And Dropbox, same thing. They're all
But you don't have to go buy a new hard drive or you have to buy a new something to store it. You just add a little more.
I'll tell you one thing about cloud though. For me, it would be, so take the hard drives you get. They corrupt. I've had a hard drive was a 6 terabyte and it like had everything on it and it corrupted. Like that was sad.
Yeah.
So cloud does have an advantage because I have never had cloud saying this is corrupt.
And that's, it's loss of data, corruption of data. It's ransomware attacks and, how you can secure it. It's a lot of, you look at businesses and how do they try to enable some strategy for like business continuity or business resiliency. That's basically what you're talking about. It's like, now with this podcast and the things, everything that you would have had to archive and, all of the things that Garrett was setting up.
It's there.
It's there. And it's secure and it's safe and you're not having to maintain a server over here in the corner.
One day we might get, no, we're not going to serve it.
Maybe one day whenever we got our app.
The Boothbys are in here and the Boothbys, shout out to John. They just moved, Boothbys are No Springs. Butler for governor. Shout out to the Sands Project. They're big. They want Butler to run. Mike Butler's Butler Homes.
Yeah, and I don't know Mike personally, but I've followed the Sands. Yeah, everything that y'all have been doing.
Pretty interesting project.
Yeah. The Boothbys are they're big about the coast and better in the coast too. They work pretty hard. What I love about this though is like, Matt, do you think we'll have that kind of like that?
We have to, or we're going to get left behind.
Yeah, we have to. We have to. Like, I want to see kids leave out of St. Martin and go.
I think some of them have. We've got kids leaving out of Nursery Springs doing it, but not as many.
Yeah, but you got into it when it was like
kind of groundbreaking.
Yeah, very groundbreaking.
I think a lot of it starts with giving them options. And I know that there's a lot of programs that are coming through the Community College Board and other institutions of higher learning. There's a lot of opportunities, but we've got to come up with more of them. And I think a lot of that comes down to partnerships with big tech and software developers and cloud companies and that kind of thing. And I do think we could do a lot better job. I mean, Mississippi's always at the bottom and education. Well, yeah, everything, but education and jobs and people leaving the state and all of that. But yeah, I mean, I think tech could do a lot to help with that.
No, they are. They will. I mean, I know that I guess it was probably about 6 years ago in the insurance industry, cyber liability insurance became a thing. And that was big. They were like, hey, let me round up all the insurance agents because we got to teach you about this new thing you got to go sell to make money off of, I think is, at the end of the day. But no, it was for, loss of data, credit card fraud, and companies store all this information.
Yeah. And a lot of the problem with that, what you're talking about, some of that insurance, like if you have to use that policy, it's too late.
Yeah, it really is too late.
Speaking about credit card there real quick, we had I told you about the Capital One situation.
Yeah, you said you guys got
so Friday. Yeah, so Friday, Saturday morning, I woke up and my card was hit from SeatGeeks, for like $1,000, and I'm like, who buys seats for $1,000 around here? Like, I'm like, so I call her like in 10 minutes. We call like Capital One. I'm like, this is hit, and they're like, canceled my card right off the bat. And then me and her, the agent that I was dealing with, like 3 hours on the phone, we called SeatGeek. They couldn't really help us. They're like a virtual company that
I call Capital One. Yeah, you're straight to the source there.
And then she hit me up today. She's like, yeah, no, I seen this. Like, it went through. And she's like, no, Jordan. She said, we sent this over to Federal. Your car got hit after you reached out to us. Your car got hit 8 more times, and they've been tracking. They've been using the card open. The card's been, the person's got my information. They've been using the card, and they're
should have bought LifeLock,
but they're catching it. They're going out. Federal's in it because it's too much money. It's like over $10,000 now.
And that's what, if you think about what Capital One's doing in the background on that, a lot of it's data analytics. They're looking at your spending habits and seeing the things that you're doing, what you would normally do, and putting together algorithms and understanding kind of, what Jordan's spending patterns are. And then whenever there's outliers, that's when they start flagging things and doing it. And that's the same, a lot of these big, data analytics projects are, trying to get some kind of baseline and understand what's going on. So when there's anomalies and things that are, out there, they can better, predict and understand what's happening so they can stop those charges faster.
He's correct on that. Yes. She knew everything. She was like, there's no way you don't buy tickets. Like she knew
So I heard this a couple months ago, and it was a talk about data points. And they say that people like me and you and Jordan and Garrett are all worth about 5,000 data points, and we're in our 30s. Okay. They're saying that kids like your children that have been born with internet and these devices right here following them around their whole lives are going to be worth 200,000 data points.
I believe it.
And that's the ability to predict their next move. That's like, okay, they're going to drink a Nestle water over a Dasani water. And we're going to advertise this in front of them because they're more likely to buy this right now.
So yeah. I prepped for this tonight, Patrick. I went and watched Ready Player One. I watched it last night, and this is real virtual reality. Like I really went to sleep too. You ever seen that?
No, I haven't seen
Steven's book. It's about virtual reality. Okay. Like, so you live in a life, and then you put virtual reality on. You can buy whatever you want, anything you want in life. Like so
Grand Theft Auto essentially.
But yeah, you're a celebrity, and in real time you get points, and they ship you stuff. So if you like win a game, you get a brand new. They'll send you a car. And you're
in the game or
in the game. So if you win, you get like a new bodysuit so you can be more like Steven it's a crazy movie. I don't check it out, but it's like that's where for me, it's like it's so tech. Everything's tech. It's like
Farmville.
Huh?
I'm just picturing.
But I think when you look at like when you said Mississippi we have to get there. If not, we're definitely gonna be my mom, it took her a while to get used to Facebook.
Oh, everybody. Now my mom loves Facebook. She's all over that stuff.
I told mom to stop sharing clickbait though. Like mom would see these articles
that are older that do the same thing. So I posted it, or I would actually make fun of.
Hey, what up, Brad? He's our dirt track sponsor, Crawfish and Beer. He what he plays? He got what did you get last week? Brad, what'd you get last week? But he's been working hard. He's a dirt track, Days of Thunders type. Nice. It's our first Crawfish and Beer sponsor.
Awesome.
Yeah, shout out Brett.
Huh?
Yeah, his grandpa did pass away, man. Sorry about that. He was
Brett. I apologize.
He was some of Brett's inspiration. He's a racer too.
The whole family is a racer. I seen the car going to DJ's house this weekend.
Really?
Yeah, it's Spicer house.
Honk at him?
I know they were out. Nobody was there, but the car was sitting there. It was dope.
So, Patrick, what does the future hold on you trying to open up some kind of private tech firm down here?
Oh man!
You got your fingers wet now, and you know how to do it, and you see where the void is, and you got to be able to see where there's opportunity.
Man, maybe one day. I don't know. I'm enjoying where I'm at right now. I love the role. Been doing a lot of work and a a lot of time with the family. So I don't know, maybe one day.
I just feel so left behind whenever I start talking to somebody that is aware, and like my IT guy at work, and he's like, click here and click here. Even Jordan sometimes here, and I'm just like, all right, bro. Like,
I feel like that all the time at work, working with solutions architects, my engineers, that kind of thing.
So you work from home?
Yeah, I work from home most of the time.
But everything's like remote. Like take a jump in on your computer at any given point.
And a lot of times it's, the solutions architects and engineers that I'm paired with. So like, if we would support a customer, like I would be on the sales side working through contracts and negotiations and all that kind of stuff. And then there would be an engineer who kind of helps to design a solution and work through the challenges that they would have, and we kind of tag team it together. But those guys are they
nerds.
I'm kind of
no, they're way smarter. They're not nerds.
Way smarter than me.
They're the kind of guys in high school where you're like, yeah, I'll probably be working for them one day. No, I always call them knowledge transfers, and I've mentioned that on this podcast a few times. And that's to be a creator, you got to be able to take something that's in here and then mix it all up and make it make sense, and then get it out to a physical, tangible asset to where you can use it. And that's not a gift that many people have. So it takes a special person to do it, but it's so gratifying. So those guys got to be getting, like they're having fun while they're doing
they're
this.
Enjoying it. Yeah.
Imagination's important. Yeah. Keep it going. Keep it. I think that's another thing too, is like with our kids. I mean, like Oliver, my son, and he's going to be on it like real fast, because that kid is creative, and I want to keep him. I want his imagination to run wild. I want it to put it down on a piece of paper the way we do it, but he's on a different level than us. Like he picked up so fast.
Never lose your dinosaur.
No, I agree. Things that I see Noah and Brooks doing. I mean, I'm amazed by just the creativity, the things that they think about, the way that
And then when they figure something out, you see like the light bulb go off on their head. Yeah.
I feel like sometimes we lose that excitement whenever we accomplish something or do something.
Yeah, the older we get, I agree, and it's part of growing up.
Well, when we were younger, it was when I remember like playing, I did video games. So I did video games, actually made a few dollars on playing video games. And I remember like, you won't make anything on that. And my parents love me now, and they still always love me, but they were real hard on me. Like, that's not real, or, computer games and tech. And
now there's people going to school just for that. LSU's got the EA sports program there where they're developing video games.
And now they got gaming in colleges now for sports. It's X Games now, but it's gonna make the Olympics. These kids are gonna be playing video games. You're gonna be watching Fortnite Olympics. It's gonna happen one day.
And they're putting in a lot of time, perfecting their craft.
Well, I mean, where the views go, that's why you like, honestly, any business.
Well, I've seen kids, they watch a video of somebody else playing a game. And I'm like, that wouldn't work in my generation where we were fighting over the controller. Like,
so our generation, we used to watch movie trailers on TV after MTV or TNT when we watch wrestling. Now you're moving to a generation where it's like they're advertising through Fortnite skins.
Yeah.
And that's like they're doing concert stuff. But back then it's like,
they're evolving.
Like we didn't know it. Scary Movie came out or Scream came out. We only seen it
on commercials.
Yeah.
It's these companies they're finding different ways to get their message out to us.
Talk about your points. Your points you're talking about.
Yeah, they're data points.
Yeah, they're data point everybody.
Especially when you start thinking about not only the things that you click on, things you go to, the things that you purchased, but it's the wearable technologies and the things that are out there, and they're just gleaning so much information.
Terminator is right around the corner.
But at the same time, it's
going to happen.
A lot of times, people talk about, is it too much invasion of privacy? But a lot of times it helps me to have a better experience on the internet.
Well, Pete Jones was big on that, and he owns Loxicon. Shout out Loxicon Biloxi.
All the purple lights you see behind us.
They actually automate your house. You wake up, and AC/DC's playing Thunderstruck every morning at 7:30 because that's your wake up song.
And the only thing that we ever had was Disney the Smart House. That's something we got to look for. We didn't even believe that was real. Like, no, there's no way.
But the Jetsons, the cartoon, whenever we were kids, like they're actually making that stuff to life now. But it takes engineers and it takes technology to do that. I mean, everything starts with an idea.
No, I agree.
Do you feel, as you see like the change, like so Sunday I had the meal called Sweetie. It's a wrapper's meal at McDonald's. I just want to try it out. They didn't give me my sauce.
Wait a minute.
So it's a wrapper named Sweetie. We're gonna do a taste test on it.
Okay, he's got his own meal at McDonald's.
Hey Garrett, can you pull up Sweetie's McDonald's meal?
I'm so curious about this right now.
Yeah, it's but it's so.
I've never seen anyone have their own meal at McDonald's.
No, Travis Scott, a rapper, has a meal at McDonald's. Yeah,
I just don't eat at McDonald's.
But so we went and I just seen it. Grabbed this. I seen it on the board called the Sweetie Mill.
Is it sweet and sour sauce?
It is, but like they make it diamond. They do all kinds of right there, the Sweetie Mill. So say now they're
extra?
like they're marketing through a rapper on TikTok and YouTube. It's right there.
That's absolutely crazy.
Yeah, I mean it's
We need a Jordan Matthew meal.
yeah, but the Sweetie Mill, but like she's got these big contracts with,
What is she getting paid for this by McDonald's?
millions.
No telling.
Yeah, it's in every McDonald's. Oh, and BTS. That's like the Asian boy band.
Yeah, I remember you telling me about.
So we got Plowed in here. We got Brett said second, and he then didn't finish feature. That's all right, buddy. Keep going. Don't give up.
Keep grinding.
Press says nice purple lights. Y'all never had the Travis Scott. No, I did not.
Oh, I don't even know what
Boothby says
McRib.
Boothby says Mrs. MS Cyber Center coming to the Gulf Coast. Going to be amazing.
Awesome.
That's what's up. That'll offer some jobs.
Yeah,
that's kind of back to
sure.
what we were talking about. Let's see. MSU is taking the lead on a great learning environment. Somebody's got to. I mean, I feel like that's the next wave in all colleges. Is you see them offer new classes every semester. But they got to bring the specialists to be able to teach that class.
And I think extending their in-person curriculum to online and giving a lot of opportunities for people maybe in a job but want to do something different. And you saw a lot of people that maybe lost jobs that were in service-related industries or something like that. And how can we help those people potentially pivot to a role?
Somebody like Phil, who's owned his own construction company, and then all of a sudden, falls out of a tree stand and he can't walk anymore. There's perfect opportunity right there. So it's all about, I guess, making it aware, making people aware.
Yeah.
Also, too, you got to with that. No matter what you go to, you go to take these college classes, online classes, this class, that class, you can learn it all in your head. But when it comes down to it, you need to be a part of a program that people can grow you and show you. Somebody needs to go underneath you and they can see the way, because you're not going to figure it out with all the knowledge in your head.
No, I always call it a great mentor. I mean, borrowing gray hair is what we call it in insurance. And it's like, something I don't know. Can you teach it to me? And then sometimes they can, sometimes they can't. Sometimes they're willing, sometimes they're not willing to.
And that's how, I've learned most, that's how I feel like I learned more than anything is shadowing, listening, sitting in on calls, things that have other people are doing to be successful. And I've tried to do kind of the same thing. As part of some like reverse mentoring programs, and then also a couple of like new hire or, orientation type things. And, I enjoy doing that. And I think that's where, a lot of people have to get plugged in and find a mentor and kind of understand, kind of help them navigate things that they don't necessarily know the answers to.
Well, that's everything in life.
Yeah.
I mean, not just technology wise, but I ask my dad so much stuff all the time. I'm like, man, and he looks at me and he just laughs and he's like, I'm 64 and I'm dealing with the same problems you are. I'm like, so they're not going anywhere. How do we fix this?
So a question for you is like, what got you into this in the first place? What made you say, you know what, I'm doing this?
Man, I started out in working for there was a company out of Ellisville, Howard Technology Solutions, and I was doing kind of like educational training and that kind of thing. And I just at the time I was talking about going back to law school, and then
aren't you glad you didn't do that?
Yeah, and I really am. Like there's days when it would have definitely been a different path, and I still wonder how would have worked out. But no, I kind of just love tech, and being able to I worked for Howard, and then I worked for another company out of Jackson called BCI, and it just kind of one thing led into another, and I've been able to work for these big tech companies. But
you pick up a little bit along the way.
It was a lot of luck, right place, the right time.
Great personality.
I don't know about all that.
When you first got into this transition though, like were you nervous? How that feel like when you were like, okay, I'm gonna take this on?
Yeah, and a lot of it was, when I started out, I was, younger than most of the people that I was, in rooms with. And I think it takes a lot to try to like earn trust, earn credibility. And a lot of it, you're talking about failure. I lost a lot of deals and missed out on a lot of projects, had to work through, customers that weren't necessarily happy. I was just trying to understand how things happen. So, you learn a lot from those kind of like early situations that
now you're the old man.
Right. Yeah. Sometimes I feel like I am now.
Yeah. And for me, so that's when you say like, hey, you know what, get good programs here, like you said, and just take a person that has the knowledge, and then you grow them. You grow a bunch of people. They're going to make a lot of mistakes. You better do it when they're young. You know, it's better to do it when you're young. They're going to make mistakes no matter what.
Yeah,
I mean,
but most people won't even try.
Yeah.
And that's what separates like the doers from just the non-doers.
My boss at Cisco, he's still a good friend of mine, and I feel like he took a chance, and it just kind of helped me in those like early years of my.
Well, it's an
career.
investment.
Yeah, and I mean, I think he would think it. He would say it paid off.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely. He's got a good friend out of it.
Yeah, and he's it's funny. He had to remind me at different times. We were like on some like interview committees and things like that. And I was like, well, this guy doesn't really have all the experience. And then he would say, well, you didn't either when I hired you. So a lot of times it's not what it looks like on paper.
That's so true. It really is true.
I think it's finding somebody that can be a mentor, will take a chance on you, and kind of help you along the way early on.
Yeah, and you're going to see that so you take that. I love meeting people that you gain knowledge from, and I feel like the show we gain knowledge from people. We're absorbing your knowledge right now.
Yeah,
we're learning things, and we're only every episode we're getting stronger, and that's something that's cool. So hold on, we got John over at booth who says MSU taking that lead on the great learning environment, which is dope. I want to see that. I want to see so much tech down here.
Heard it here first. Best podcast ever. Thanks, John.
John, thank you so much for that. And we got to take some shots of that wine. I'm good.
We do no shots of wine.
Yeah, nobody's doing shots of wine.
Ooh.
Pressing.
You can come in here and do it.
Yeah, come over here and do a shot of. Dude, you chug the whole bottle for all I care.
So let's talk about this vacation that you guys just went on. You're sharing a little bit of that with me. That sounded pretty fun.
So the vacation was awesome. So I've been wanting to. Most of my friends, I've talked about it with them, and I think my wife was sick of hearing about it. I've been wanting to buy.
Let's show everybody a picture of Kaylee so everybody knows what they look. We put it all together here. There we go. Look at that young guy right there.
That's right. That was wedding day.
What year was that?
Pre-kids. That was 2015. But yeah, so I've been wanting to buy a camper, and Kaylee had the great idea to rent a camper before we bought a camper. So we left from here with the truck. Kaylee, our 3 boys, Noah's 4, Brooks is 2, and Luke is 11 months. There they are. And we stayed with Kaylee's aunt in Houston, left there, went to Dallas, and we picked up a 27-foot Airstream.
Wow.
Truck. And then we went to Colorado. We hit 4 national parks. So basically we went over to the Great Sand Dunes. We went to
that's sweet, dude.
Mesa Verde, Black Canyon of the Gunnison, left there, went through Aspen, went up through the Rocky Mountain National Park, came down through Denver, through Colorado Springs, and then home. So we were gone for like 10 days.
And did you work on the trip?
I did. I worked on it.
Have to.
Yeah.
That's the great thing about
And you're
working
talking
from
about
home.
It's,
Right.
it's great that I can work from home, but at the same time, I feel like I'm always,
So the first time I went to Aspen, I remember I got out and it was during summertime and everything just looked fake. It looked like a movie scene. And how beautiful was all your views out there, man?
Man, like it's a great. I went to Colorado in the summer when we were younger with my parents and my brother, and I hadn't been back in summer since. And it's just beautiful up there times of year. Like the weather's perfect, no humidity.
There's no air conditioning.
Yeah. Well, and then the
Probably is an Airstream.
Yeah. Well, the camper was great because it had solar panels that would run everything except for the AC, but it was so cool at night. It was great. But yeah, we stayed in a campground like 4 miles outside of Aspen. And the boys had a blast.
Do you feel like the 20, you said it's 27-foot Airstream, you feel like it was too big?
You feel like you were pulling a boat back in Biloxi?
So,
I mean, seems like a pretty big camper, right?
Yeah, and after looking at some of the other ones that are out there, I mean, it's kind of on the on the smaller side of some of them, but my truck did a pretty good job pulling it. There was a couple of moments that were questionable, but we had but it was fun. Like we were worried it was going to be like too crowded, but man, it was fun.
That's pretty, like that's
yeah,
ridiculous.
That's
That's
right there.
So,
look how big that thing is.
Yeah.
So are they new? Because I know that those things look old. They've been making these
And
Airstreams
they're
Yeah,
now.
so-
expensive.
same like outdoor, like from the outside look the same as they've had for years, but the inside is like super nice.
Clutch.
So we had one just like it was so that right there, Garrett is the one that we had, one just like that. And since Luke's still in a pack and play, he was on one side, and then Kaylee was down there, and then I had Noah and Brooks with me all piled up. but it was fun. I mean, great memories. Like,
Oh,
ton
absolutely.
of cool things.
Did anybody get to ride in the camper while you were driving?
No, nobody rode in the camper.
That's
with
what
us.
I'm saying.
I'd be like, yo, go ahead, take it. I actually rode in the boat this past weekend. We went to Chandelier and we were going to drop the boat off, and it's got a little cabin with air conditioning. And I was just like, yo, go ahead and drive me down to the boat. And then I'm sitting there, I'm at the gas station, we filled up, and I'm like, man, I'm an insurance agent. This probably isn't the smartest decision. So I jumped at Mallett's. I jumped out of the cabin and I went got in the truck.
What kind of boat does he got now?
It's a one-off. It's an aluminum boat. Actually, I think we had pictures of it on one of the podcasts we did about fishing.
Yep.
Nice.
What, you can hear us? Are we good?
But
No,
yeah,
you want to pick? Okay, so
you're talking about the bathrooms. It was nice having that, kids just being on a road trip, having to stop all the time. So we were able to just pull over by going the Airstream and then get back on the road.
So we got a so me and Emily just got a shout out to Direct Auto and Michael West. He took him like a month and a half, like a month or more to find this Toyota Sienna. Like we wanted a van, and we're about to get a small little camper to pull behind it, but we're definitely gonna get a small camper, like, because like I have so many friends that have these very, like, they're not really campers, they're just like
Home on wheels, like
yeah, home on wheels. Like, so
yeah.
I'm fine as long as it has a restroom and a sleeping quarters, because I'm always outside anyway.
Well, that's what most of the time when we were there, like we were cooking outside in the parks or we were out exploring. Like we did a bunch of hiking. Then we took the kids to the Children's Museum, and there was this awesome zoo in Colorado Springs, the Cheyenne Mountain Zoo.
Huh.
So it's this zoo that's all through, like, all in the mountains, but it was awesome. But yeah, the kids had a blast. I was wondering if Kaylee was gonna like it or not, but even after the trip, she was like, "Man, I think we do need to buy one."
So what are you gonna get?
So-
So what have you been thinking on? What have you been thinking about?
I don't know. I do like those. I think we'd probably want a few more feet. That 27 got a little tight with the boys. It's
Yeah, and they're
a little bit
small
bigger.
now,
But
so
it
they're
was,
gonna get bigger.
But it was fun, man. We had a great time.
We got a buddy, Chevalier Brian. Shout out to you, buddy. He's like serious about like camping life, and he's got like this $250,000. I don't even know what, like, but he likes driving, and it's his, like, he works really hard. Does this, like, that's his baby, like, but he has this like RV lifestyle, and it's like you see this thing, and it's like, I mean, is a celebrity hopping out of that thing? Is a rock star coming out of that?
That's funny.
But it's addictive. Like, and I've never seen anybody ever buy a camper. Like Brandon Bailey is a perfect example. These people, you buy a camper, and then they'll have it, and then they upgrade. And they'll upgrade, and then it's like,
Yeah, I mean, you always want more. That's life, right?
Well, what I didn't know is
the
like,
camp world is
we
crazy.
talking about like the size of the campers and that kind of thing. So we did a bunch of national parks. Like we stayed in Rocky Mountain National
So
Park.
you
for
got to
2
compare
nights.
with other people.
Well, no, not that. So all of the parks, like you're kind of limited in the size of your camper. So
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you're this big boss hog, and
yeah, I mean, you got it. Like we had this 27-foot camper we could fit in any national park. So like, we stayed 2 nights in Rocky Mountain National Park for $30 a night, and you're like in the park. So I mean, it was just amazing.
You think you're gonna go past that, or you're gonna get it? Like, I mean, how big we're talking?
No, I mean, I think maybe a couple more feet, 28 or 30, but I don't know. I don't know if it's in the cards anytime soon, but one day.
How many brochures do you have at your house?
they don't even have brochures anymore. Now they just send you these big, thick
there's a lot
magazine pamphlets.
There's a lot of links to download in my email.
But an Airstream like that, if I'm not mistaken, they're like $100,000.
Yeah, they're not.
I mean,
they're not cheap.
that one you were carrying is, I mean, they're
Yeah.
proud of their
Well, that was
product,
the thing.
and you're paying full price.
We rented one to see what it would be like, and we went on Outdoorsy and rented one, and it was cool.
Jason, you met Jason, my neighbor that moved.
Yeah.
He had like a Wolverine camper or whatever, and that thing was, I think he paid $40,000 for it, but it had like slide out. What do I need to do? What do you keep doing?
Addition boats in there somewhere too. This is where I was trying to ride in the back.
Was it fun though?
Oh, we had fun.
That's sick. But yeah, my neighbors, they had this, it was like they paid like $40,000 for it, but like,
Yeah,
he goes, man, let me show you my spot. And I go, like, he had it at his house. Now they live on the beach over here, but he still got the same camper, but like he hits a button, right? He hits a button, and it's just him and his wife and their dog, but he hits a button, and these doors come out, and they're sitting in these like recliner, like movie theater seats.
Yeah.
And it's like, and then all of a sudden purple lights start happening.
Greg Williams, he's building a house right now. He's staying in his camper. This thing's nice. It's nicer than my house. It's new.
Got an island.
Marble
I
countertops.
suggested that, and I don't know that 3 kids in a camper.
Yeah, that
would
might
build
be
a house.
tough.
I don't know about all
might
that.
be tough.
I mean, you have to make do though. This is all a bump. Like Brandon Bailey has his, and he has a fifth wheel.
Yeah.
So he has a fifth wheel, but he had like I stay with him every year, cruising the coast, and he has like 4 or 5 bunks.
I feel like I would never use
other
it
side.
as
Well, that's
to
what we're-
warrant it.
Yeah. There's a lot of places that are close that are great spots to camp. We were just talking about doing it, while the boys are young. And
Is that Kyle shirtless? What are you doing? This is scary.
That's showing more pictures of it. I don't know. You literally said
I didn't know you
send
have a
pictures
picture
to
of
the
Kyle shirtless. It was going to be a picture sent. I love you, Kyle, though. He's watching. It's good. Kyle is going to be coming on. What?
yeah.
No, my eyes.
I see you. I feel you. Let's see.
Guido, what's up, gents? Great to see you at the fights. Yeah, it was good seeing you, buddy. It was awesome.
Yep. Brandon Davis dominated again. We actually showed the fight last night on our doubleheader podcast, and Jordan said we got flagged for it on YouTube. So
we get flagged for
you
everything.
can't do anything without getting flagged. What's up with these technology people, bro? I ain't trying to flag us.
Yep.
You ever think we're gonna get barcodes
Like on us?
like tattoos? You ever think it's gonna come to that?
I hope not.
I wanted the one where the Justin Timberlake movie where it just tells you how much time you got before
That was what was it called? It was Timeless.
I don't remember.
That was a good movie, but life was.
But no, honestly, I think Terminator's coming because, like we were just talking about. I mean, they're gonna have data points. They're gonna know. They're gonna be able to predict all this stuff. They already are. They already are.
And who knows? Yeah, I mean, who knows what tech's going to be in 5-10 years? I mean, think about how far
T100s.
I'd like to say though, I want people to always say, the world's changing, life's gonna change, but stay positive.
Yeah.
I mean, enjoy it. Every day is a new day.
And I
make the best of that day.
Yeah, and it's hard to you've seen people with this work from home and just learning and Zoom calls and all that, and it doesn't replace like the face-to-face interaction.
No.
That's the hard. That's been a hard part of just everything that's going on because you can't interact with people like you used to, especially in our world. So
or you don't have to.
Yeah,
that's another thing.
We get built into that too. Though is like we over like I said, like the whole day by day thing. Like enjoy the day. People get so caught up in like a week from now or 2 weeks from now or a month from now, and like honestly, be glad you're alive today.
Yeah, that was a lot of like just going on the trip. I was like, Kay and I were talking about it, like, fine, let's do it. Let's go now. And we booked it all last minute right before the kids were going back to school, and it was awesome. We're going
to the Keys. Me and my dad to this next week. We're going scuba diving.
Nice.
Are you going to scuba dive with jellyfish?
I'm going to scuba dive with whatever is in the water.
Be careful.
Bring the camera.
That'd be fun.
We're gonna get some good footage, but it's just one of those. He was like, "Hey man, do you want to go?" And I was like, "Well, yeah."
I'm not gonna pass
and he was like, "Well, it's in August," and I'm like, well, "We're in August," but last minute, and to be able to do that, I'm grateful.
No,
but it keeps my sanity level at where it needs to be because you just said it, man. You get caught in that routine, and you start taking things for granted that you shouldn't. You just sit back and take it all in.
Yeah.
Well, that's I'm glad to have you on the podcast.
I appreciate
it.
Sure,
It's been a
what'd you
dope
think?
podcast.
Were we too hard on you?
No, man, it was fun. I'm glad y'all
It's just a
convinced me to
conversation.
come on, man. It was fun. I can't believe
part 2?
I can't believe an hour went by that fast.
We'll have to
2?
do it again. We're gonna do it again.
I don't think I can say no on
There we go.
live podcast. Huh?
Damn, until you never get invited back to the studio.
Yeah.
So, you got anything?
Y'all tell me when.
You look at that camera. If how people can reach out to you if they're inspired by how can they find you if they want to be the next Patrick Johnson?
Oh man, I guess find me on. I don't know. Do you say
The
find me on
Facebook.
Facebook?
Find me
That's
on the
fine. Or
Facebooks.
I guess if it's business related,
He'll probably have
I'm on
his-
LinkedIn. So
He'll
either
probably
way.
have his own meal on with McDonald's here
Yeah.
before too long. So,
That'd be dope.
Patrick, thank you so much for coming,
Yeah.
bro. I had
Appreciate
a
it,
great
man.
time, man.
Both of
And,
y'all.
and you guys, thanks for watching, and y'all check us out next time.
Hey.
Drop us out, Garrett.
Good.
That's a fact. Ay, throw it back. Ay, throw it back. Ay.
I got the yellow ribbon. So, it's okay.
How many times did you sit back just relaxing? Understand movements coming in, yeah, we got the packs in. I don't really wanna see no more traffic. Last pack just came in, let's get it out quick.
I had a hard
Wanna be okay, wanna be alright.